paint the background of our 8x10 canvas. And then we're going to trace on a little bunny. We're going to paint him, give him a little poofy booty. And let me see if I could straighten that up a little. We're going to give him a little poofy booty. And then we are going to actually add a cross, all right? So we've got some purple glass strips that we're going to make a little cross out of. We're going to have some grass coming up. We're going to add some of our coveted purple glass to our cross, as well as a little glass chip. It's got a little smidge of pink and purple in it. I actually have a couple of little wooden eggs we're going to put on like below our cross as well, and some cute little flowers that I made while we were waiting. So if you want to know how to make your own little flowers, and these are like acrylic, listen, they are made like little acrylic flowers. On Friday, we're going to do a live, and I'm going to show you how to make your own little flowers so that you don't have to go and search thereof. Also have some green glass. We're probably going to put it down under the cross so it has like a little space of greenness to be sitting in, all right? So let's see what's going on, all right? So first order of business is I am poofy bunny butts. That's right, Lou, poofy bunny butts. What I'm going to do first right now is put in a couple of links for you guys for a few things, okay? I'm gonna post that, and I'm gonna see if I can pin it. Please, okay, pinning that. So we do have a limited supply of purple glass available. I just posted the link. I posted the link to the purple glass, to the green, to the glass strips, and to art resin. So if you are interested, after we do this, I will also add the links to the top of the page description. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Purple. Now, if you order glass strips, they're going to be purple, but not necessarily this exact shade, okay? Read the description before you purchase glass strips from us. I want you to read the description so you understand how we work with strip colors. And if you are just wanting a particular shade or opacity, don't order, okay? Don't do it, because ain't no telling what you're gonna get. You're just gonna get purple, all right? First order of business is let's get a little bit of a background on our canvas. And we're gonna start with some white. I lost all my colors. They cleaned up my desk, and now all my things are gone. Where's my white? Lord have mercy. All right, we have some white. I'm gonna use a tiny bit of purple, and I think it's gonna be the wisteria. Can you tell I didn't even have my paints ready yet? And I'm also gonna use a tiny bit of yellow, and I want something soft. So we're gonna go with buttercream, all right? Just a little bit of a background. All right, so let me see. I'm glad you're here, Carrie. Nice. Hello, everybody. So let's go ahead and do our background. I'm going to move some of this out of the way so I don't make a mess. And I'm going to grab a brush. Ill prepared this day. I'm going to grab a brush, and we're going to just use a couple of these colors. I actually need a little green. Let me grab some green. What green? Let's do something different. Always using the same color. But we're going to just use the same color because I have it, and I have like 5 bottles of it, and it's the first one I touched. Okay? So, yeah, it's the camera set up in here, so maybe go out and come back in. It'll be better. I don't know. So let's go ahead and get some background color on. First thing I'm going to do is, and this also is a big room, so that might be part of it too. I need to get a microphone so you guys don't hear all that. I'm going to spread some white around. Just coat the entire top of the canvas with some white. And we're going to get rid of all that business. That's kind of nasty. Yay! Now, keep in mind, guys, the purple is a limited supply. It is our April color of the month, which means in May, we're going to have a different color, and the purple is going to get pushed aside for a while. And it is limited supply, but if we sell out today, we are making more throughout the whole month. So don't panic, okay? Don't panic. Now let's get this goo off. Got some serious, I need to go just get all new white bottles because mine are kind of icky. Yeah. Elizabeth, I just posted links in the thread for all the glass. artshattered.com. But I just posted links. It should be pinned either at the top or the bottom, depending on your device. You should be able to see that. All right, so now I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start at the bottom and go ahead and get some green down at the bottom, and I'm just gonna squish it right out of my bottle. I'm not gonna waste a tray, right? So let's just, I think I'm gonna go sideways and just give myself a little grass. Right, pretty nice. Let's get that off the brush. And now I think this is buttercream. It's a soft yellow color. I think I'm going to just put a little bit of that right in the center. And I'm gonna do that one thing you guys know I always love to do. If you follow me much, you know I love to make like a halo, like just circular color. So we're gonna add a little circle of yellow, very light color. Wipe that off. And then this is wisteria, really nice light color purple. And I'm gonna put one little dot on each side of the yellow. And then we're just going to add a little bit of that purple. Don't go into your grass. I'm gonna get a little bit of that off. Just a little bit of that purple on the outside. Then I'm just gonna kind of pull it all together. All right, I went into my green, and I'm digging this so far, but I got a little green mess, so I'm just gonna go back and forth, straighten that out, give myself a little grass line, and voila, that's as far as we're going. Super simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? All right, so let's get this dry. I'm gonna use my heat gun. We're gonna get this dry, and then we'll trace our, we'll trace our bunny on. Yeah, if you can't see the link, just go to artshattered.com and put the word purple in the search bar. It's so pretty. Look at it, guys. It is so stinking pretty. Loving it. We did a test on it last week. And it worked out really nicely. All right, I think we're dry. See a little bit of wet right here. We're gonna make sure. Yay, Rennie! All right, super cool. Now let me grab a little bit of graphite paper, and we're gonna grab a stylus. If you don't have a stylus, you can totally use just a ballpoint pen. All a stylus is a pen without ink, right? It's just got that same ballpoint on it with no ink, right? The great egg in the sky. Lori, you're so funny. Oh, okay, so here's how this is gonna work. I'm gonna let that cool off just a second. Isn't this better than being upside down? I do see that it has a much wider range and you can pretty much see all the disaster that is on my paint desk because I've been crazy busy working today. And yeah, it's like kind of messy, but we'll get that figured out too. I'll have to be more, less messy, right? Okay, so we're cooled off and I sketched out a cute little bunny and we're gonna have him kind of off to the side a little. So I'm gonna kind of adjust him where the middle of his tail is in the green line, like right at the edge of that green and the top, and about in the right side of that third, because we are actually going to put a cross. I'm gonna lean it sideways a little, but we're gonna put a cross here. Just scoot him over just a wee. Let's see if we can figure that out. I'm gonna put a cross here with the bunny and some little eggs. So, yay. So let's tape that down. Let me see if I can get some tape. We'll just tape that down so it doesn't wiggle. Can't have things wiggling. You guys, don't forget to sprinkle to your friends and let me know you sprinkled, and then we will gift this cute little art piece to someone who sprinkled. How about that? We'll draw a name and somebody will get gifted. Thank you. I'm working so hard trying to get all these videos looking better, and so let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and just trace the outline of my bunny. This is his backside. We're gonna add some flowers to his head too, like he's gonna have a little flower halo. But let's add just his little tail and the outline of his body. Now let's take a peek. Thank you guys for the sprinkles. Oops, look, I missed half his head. So let's add that. Let's add his head. I don't want to miss nothing. That's why I always take a peek before I remove my tape. You want to pull your graphite out, take a peek, make sure all the body parts are there before, thank you, Pam, appreciate you. Make sure you can see all the tracer lines before you remove your tape. Doing my very best job, I promise. I'm not a videographer. I do not have that skill set, so I'm just doing my very best. All right? So, first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna get a paint tray. We're gonna paint the bunny with a little bit of white. And I think I'm gonna get a tiny bit of gray, and we'll use that to shade a little so he'll look nice. So let's put some white. A little bit of white and a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of gray. All right, a little white. And this is cable knit gray. I think it is. It feels empty. All I need is one little tiny drop. That's probably going to do it. See how much I got? Teeny tiny, tinsy wincy bit. All right. Now let me grab a smaller brush. I'm going to use this round. These are my Art Shattered paint brushes. I'm going to use this small round brush. Let's wet it. I can't get any closer, guys. You want it upside down or do you want it closer? I can do it upside down. You can decide. Right? All right, so I'm just gonna keep painting. And I'm just gonna paint the whole inside of my bunny with white, and we probably will have to do 2 coats. And we'll see what happens. I think we got a little spoiled with the other Facebook, being able to control that. But this is as close right now as I can get. So I'm just gonna get this white on. I think I'll hit it with a dryer, and then we'll do another coat to make sure that the green and yellow is not reflecting through. We want it to be nice and covered. So get that on. And we don't want to see those tracer lines either, even though we will add a little pin lines to that. All right, so let's just real quick get this dry. Now that paint is very translucent. So I'm gonna let that cool for just a second. Thanks, Brenda. Doing my very best, y'all, I promise. Oh, Linda, that's hilarious. We're gonna let this warm up a little, cool off a little, so I'm not painting on a hot canvas. All right, let's hit it again. We'll add in, keep in mind, this is the back of our bunny. So I'm gonna paint some white in his ears, her ears, because she's gonna have a flower headband. So we'll get that white on. I'm gonna grab just the tiniest bit of gray right on the tip of my brush, kind of blended in that white, so it just is like a grayish white. The captions are available. Somebody tell Sandy captions are available on the replay. And I'm just gonna come in and add a little bit of that gray on the outside just to define his ears a little. Now we're gonna do the head. So let's do second coat on his head. I'm gonna grab the tiniest bit of gray in my brush, and I'm gonna hit right between the ears right there with that, and then I'm just gonna come around and just very loosely add a little gray on the outer edge. So you can see, just kind of adding a little bit of that gray around the outside so it helps define it, all right? All right, so let's do the body. Julie, I'm about to have to be right back. You. Little white, second coat on the body. We will do some pin details. So he's gonna be so cute. She, he, she, it, doesn't matter, whatever. And I'm gonna grab a tiny bit of that gray, and I'm gonna make that kind of a line that forms up that circle, okay? Then the head circle. And then I'm just gonna come around. Let's get a little more tinsy-wincy, don't overdo it. I'm gonna come around. And let's get the tail, the whites. And for the tail, we're gonna get gray on our brush, and we're gonna kind of outline the outer edge of that tail just to give it definition so you can see that there's a tail there, right? So I'm gonna get a tiny bit of that gray, blend it in, and then just come around and almost outline. I need a little more. Almost give it like a little outline. Right, there we are. We get a little white. I got a little excited, and I'll show you guys this close up. Right, now this is the back of his head, so don't be looking for no eyeballs. So here is our cute little bunny. Hello, thank you guys for the prayers for Steve's family. His mom is still in some extended care, so hopefully things are going to be getting better and better. All right, so let's rinse that. I'm going to hit this with a dryer real quick because I'm going to add a little bit of grass, and I don't want to get my hand in the light while I'm doing that. Oh, Julie. I missed Julie's comment somehow. Oh, girl. I'm so sorry. I completely whiffed right over that. All right. Bunny, done. See our bunny? We're going to define him a little more after we get our grass in. All right, so let's again kind of figure out where our cross is going to be. And we're also going to paint a couple of these Easter eggs. All right, so I'm going to kind of tilt my cross a little. And so I'm going to, let me grab something. I will grab a green watercolor pencil. This is just a watercolor pencil, and that's going to help me decide where my grass is going to go, right? So we're going to do a cross like right here, and then we'll have a couple of Easter eggs. So I think our grass, I just made some marks, and our grass is going to go in that general area. So let's get some more of the Hauser green. It might have been the last one because I think the limit is 2. And so that we could make sure they were getting spread out. And hang on, I'm trying to find my little liner brush. So it might have been the last one. We are making more, so if it says it's sold out, please just give us a day because we're working on it every day, all right? So I'm going to take my liner brush. This is a small liner brush. Can you see that? All right, and I'm going to go into this green. I'm just going, there's a big old boogie. I'm just going to saturate my brush really nicely. It was pretty wet. I'm going to kind of drag it and roll it at the same time to give myself a little bit of a point. And then here, where we added those green marks with the watercolor, with the watercolor, I'm just going to come in and I'm going to add actually a little bit of base as well. And I'm going to add just some grass. So go into your green, roll it through the wet paints, and then start at the bottom and just swoop up. And we're going to go left or right, up, down, all over the place. Don't feel like everything has to be exact. We're going to put some green glass down here too, so don't worry about all that. So I want to have right, left, up, short, tall, short, 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 tall, swerve to the right, to the right, to the right, right, to the left, to the left. Just giving ourselves a little grassiness down here. I'm going to fill in that bottom. We're going to add a few more little sprigs on the other side. That's right. That is so right. So I'm going to come over here and add just a few more blades of grass. All right, I'm going to just fill in a little. Watch this, finger painting. A little green, teeny bit of white. And go around his little hind butt. All right, that's good. That's good. All right, happy with that. So we're gonna get this dry, and then we're gonna add our details, and then we're gonna paint our Easter eggs real quick. I'll show you this up close in 1 sec. So here's what we got. Pretty cute. So our cross, we got more coming, y'all. Please, please, please realize that we got more coming. So our cross is going to be here. So let's go ahead while this is cooling. Let's go ahead, we'll put one here and maybe one here. Let's go ahead and put some color on our Easter egg. And I think we would be remiss not to use a wee of purple on our egg. So I think I'm going to use, these purples are not the bestest, but I do have purple iris. So I think I'm going to use this buttercream yellow. Put a little bit of that on. And I'm just going to, let me grab some tape and tape that down. Here's how I like to paint little baby things, because I got big old fingers. So I'm gonna sticky side down. I'm gonna put a little bit of tape here and a little bit of tape here. Now I can stick my eggs to that tape and it doesn't move. All right, so let's start with, I'm gonna clean that brush. I'm gonna start with the yellow, and I'm gonna paint this whole thing with this buttercream, right? So let's just get that color on. What color should we paint this other egg? We got yellows and purples. We're gonna do some purple on top of the yellow. So maybe we'll do this whole thing purple and with the little accents. Let's keep it in the purple theme, right? What do you think? All right, let me rinse that. I'm gonna get some of this purple out. Purple iris. That's a nice purple. Very matchy to our glass. Look at there. It don't get no better than that. Don't get no better. So let me get my brush. What I did with it, there it is. And let's go ahead. I'm gonna try to avoid like those two lines. And so I don't have to fight the fight, painting a lighter color over the top. What other color goes great with purple? I'm going to try to butt right up against it, but leave that space. Around. Now these little eggs came from Hobby Lobby in the craft section. They always have those little packs of whatever holiday it is, little wood cutouts. And that's where these cuties came from. They had little chicks and bunnies and eggs. All kinds of little Eastery type things. All right, here we go. Orange, yellow. So let's go back. I'm going to go back into my yellow and hit this again. So it's nice and colored. I think we need a brighter yellow to go with that purple. But let's get it purpled again. We're in the purple and yellow theme. Let's do it. So let's get, the wood soaks up the paint really quickly, so it dries fast. That's always good when you're trying to do something fast anyway. Let's go above the little line. Y'all know this is tricky for me with all this Arthur going on. All right, let's get a brighter yellow. But while we have this purple on my little brush, I'm gonna roll it so it's right on the tip. And I am going to get that water drop. I'm gonna go and add, it wasn't quite dry. Might need to let it dry. Those little wiggles. Yeah, we need to let that dry. So let me grab a brighter yellow. Bright yellow, where are you? Oh, this is literally bright yellow. Let's get the tiniest bit of that. I'm just gonna work right out the lid. Tiny little brush. And I'm gonna add some of that bright yellow right to this purple. Right in that little line that's etched. That looks pretty cute. I'm gonna hit this with my heat gun, get this dry, so we can finish these eggs up. Little wood bunnies and eggs from Dollar Tree. You go, girl. Now I'm gonna try to hit those purple lines again, and we'll make some purple dots. Purple, purple. We're in purple land. So let's hit the squiggles again. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm totally not trying to stay in the lines of the etching. In my opinion, the etching is just a suggestion. I'm doing it the way I want. I don't know about y'all, but I don't take suggestions that well. All right, I'm going to get a little bit more purple, and we're going to do the, thank you, Gwen. We're going to do the little dots. So I'm going to shake up this purple. Let's cover this. I'm going to use the end of my paintbrush to make those dots. So I'm just going to use that end, dip in, do a test, perfect. And I'm gonna make my little dots. I like to offload the first one because it's usually a little big. So I'm going over here, then I'll do 2. I'll go over here, and I'll do, I think I can do all 3. Voila! Look at that. So cute, cute little eggs. All right. All right, I'm going to set these aside and just let them dry while we just set them over here. We're going to do a little bit of line work, and then we're going to start adding our details, our glass bits. So let's grab a pen. This is a micron. You can use any graphic illustration marker that is archive quality. There's a couple of different brands. This one is a micron, Pigma micron, but Master's Touch at Hobby Lobby is also an excellent brand. This just happens to be the one I picked up. All right. Oh, we got to add one more thing, I think. Actually, we're going to add one more thing before I do that. I'm going to get my little baby brush. We are going to use these little flowers I made. Do they paint? Not to my knowledge. My daughter tries occasionally, and I think that Dorothy may have tried a time or two, but for the most part, I don't think they do too many of them. Okay, we're going to add these little flowers right at the head. So I'm just going to add a few little leaves with my little liner brush, okay? So I'm just going to go into that green, and I'm going to bring one over here, and I'm just making a leaf shape. And then we'll make a little leaf shape. And a little leaf shape. Nothing too fancy. And then let's make one more skinny leaf. And then I'm going to do a little water on my brush, and I'm going to swirl it around in my green real quick. Drag it so it gets right on the tip. And let's just make some little squigs. A little squiggle. That's not enough paint. Hang on. Let's drag it. A little squiggle. A little squiggle. All right. Now, while I have the green still on my brush, I'm going to put a teeny bit of white on there, and we're just going to make a little white blip, like a little apostrophe in each little leaf, just to give it a little teeny bit of dimension. All right, no big deal, nothing terribly fancy or, it's just a little something, something, not too much. All right, so let's get that dry. Take 1 millisecond. Boom. Dry. Now we can move to our pen work, which makes all the difference in the world. It'll really stand out once we do this. Thank you for the sprinkles. So I'm going to take my little, it's a 0.5 illustration marker, and I'm just going to outline in short strokes, short, quick, loosey-goosey strokes all around my bunny. All right, we'll get these little honey butts. And let's do the leaves. And we'll also add a few little squiggles with our pen. Now we're going to come down here, and I'm going to start at the bottom and just also add left, right, straight up, swoop down a few little bits of grass. Go in all directions. Grass doesn't grow straight up perfectly. All right? I'm going to give it a little horizontal line as well. Now, look at that. Does that not make all the difference in the world? So stinking cute. So we're not gonna add these yet, but I do wanna see if we wanna do one flower. That's a yellow one. Pink one, I think one flower. And this one's purple. So we'll make that decision when we get to that part, but I think that is gonna be super fun. So we'll make that decision. Next thing we're gonna do is work on our cross, right? So our cross is, I do want it kind of tilted. So we're gonna do, we have 3 strips, okay? I'm getting ahead of myself. We have 3 glass strips. I'm trying to find my scoring tool. And they're all the same size, okay? This is how they come in my store, is 3 strips in a pack. And I like for my cross not to be like 2 strips exactly the same size. So for this one, I'm gonna cut just about 1 inch off of this strip. So I'm just gonna take my scoring tool and guesstimate, and I'm just gonna make a little nick. It doesn't have to be much. You don't even have to score all the way across, just a little nick, and then push away from the score so that I have 2 different lengths on my glass. All right, I'm gonna grab some Aleene's clear tacky glue. We'll set that aside, and I'm gonna decide exactly where I want my cross to be. Real quick first though, I'm gonna add just a tiny drop of glue to one side of that cross glass, and then I'm gonna put the other piece, smear it, smush it all together so that they're stuck together and make a wider piece. Right now, let's figure out exactly where we want it. And I think let me straighten it up just a wee. I don't want it perfectly straight up and down. I do want it angled a little, but I think that's a good spot. So I'm gonna take my glue, and you could do this on the canvas or on the glass. I'm gonna add just a little bit of glue to hold it in place. And we're gonna stick that in the grass, right at an angle, right? Oh, so fun. All right, now we need those horizontal bits. So I'm gonna take my other glass strip, and I do have one piece that I cut off of that one, and I'm gonna, you can measure if you want, but I'm just gonna fly by the seat of my pants like I almost always do, and I'm gonna make a couple of nicks about that size or even a little bigger. So I'm just gonna take my scoring tool and make a nick, push away from the score and break. And we'll do it again. Push away. And I want 4 pieces. Push away. So now we have 4 pieces that can act as our horizontal bit for our cross. We also have this little leftover, and super hard to worry about that, but I'm gonna stick it right in here just so it's used. So I'm gonna add a tiny bit of glue, just a few little dots right here, and just stick her in. Then I'm gonna take these 2 pieces, or these 4 pieces, and I'm gonna put a tiny dot on one of each. Then we're gonna stack them. Rub them together, smear that glue in. Then on one side, I'm gonna take a tiny bit of glue, just a few little dots, and we're gonna add those horizontal bits. Dot, 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 just enough to hold it together. We're gonna add those bits, let's scooch that up, right to our cross. Let me stand up and look at it from the top. Digging it. Okay, so that's kind of straight up and down. Let me fix that a little. Love this. You can see out of the 3 strips, I've got 3 depths of the vertical and 2 of the horizontal. on my little cross. So now what I'm gonna do, I did dig into my scraps and I found a little bit of a glass chip that had a teeny bit of purple, but it doesn't even have to have the purple. It can just be clear or have pink or pretty much any color. We're gonna add that to the center of our cross to kind of hide where it all joins together. But before we do, I'm gonna take a little bit of my, let me put my flowers over here, the purple glass that we are making here in the warehouse. The girls have been working diligently to make some purple glass. I don't think I need all this. I'm gonna just grab like maybe half of it. And what I like to do is just drop it, all right? Let the chips fall where they may. You may need a little bit more. Just gonna add some of the smaller nubs. Excuse me. All right, so just add a little bit of that purple glass. I used about half, just a tiny handful. Now what I'm gonna do is right where the vertical and horizontal meet, I'm gonna add the tiniest bit of glue. We're gonna add that little piece. Now what you wanna do is make sure that the glue, it's sandwiching together, that the glue is on both parts and that it is holding on for dear life, right? Okay, so last but not least, let's see, I'm gonna grab up just a tiny handful of the green classic. And I got one monster piece in here I don't want in my thing. And I'm gonna add a little bit of green just down here under our cross, under our little bunny booty. You can add as much or as little as you desire. Just want to meet that green. I'm gonna add a little more, I believe. We're gonna have more purple, so don't fret, I promise. They're making it every minute of the day. But you gotta know, it's a process. It's not something that happens overnight. So we're working diligently. I'm gonna add just a few little bits. And now we have our eggs. So let's get our eggs and decide where we want those. And I'm thinking I'm gonna put one like right here in the grass. I'm gonna move some of this glass around and kind of tuck it down in. And I think I'm gonna bring some of this glass up into our cross. I need a little baby piece right there. There we go. And then I think I'm gonna put the other one over here, kind of tilted in another direction. So I'm pretty happy with this little formulation. Let me see. I'll hold it up close as soon as I can. I know it seems far away. Bring a little more, stack in a little so that the green grass is about the same depth as the cross. So I'm just gonna add a few little nubs around that. That way it's all balanced, right? Last thing, I think I've got some debris. So we are going, you can dye clear glass. That's what I did. I didn't use alcohol ink, and I'm going to tell you why. You do you, and anybody who uses alcohol ink to dye their glass successfully, fantastical. I've never been successful with the Oh, I'm keeping it. I like it, so we're just going to keep it. You do you. We are going, I find that it does fade, that the color fades, and sometimes it runs if it's not the right dye or it's not done just right. So I like to use spray, right? So I think for this, I'm just going to do the one purple flower. Since we're in purple land, right? I'm going to put the tiniest, I'm not going to glue that because I'll move it, resin, put it back, and there we are. All right, I'm going to hold this close up, and then we're going to resin. All right, so let's see. Up close and personal. I got to wait for my laptop to catch up with my iPhone. And it's like 10 seconds behind. Yeah, we're going to add some seed beads to his tail. Right, so cute. And tomorrow when he's done, we'll take some pictures real close up and personal. Okay, so I'm gonna lay him gently back down. Woo. And let's mix up some resin. I think 1 ounce is going to be perfectly fine. So I'm gonna get my 2 ounce cup and I'm second guessing myself. I think I'm going to do 1.5 ounces. 3/4 of an ounce and 1.5 ounces line. And I'm going to mix in 1 cup. If you are new, I would not suggest mixing in 1 cup. If you're new, my suggestion would be a 2-cup pour so that you are ensuring that your pour is equal parts. All right. Thank you, Catherine. All right. I'm going to get my gloves on. We're going to make, thank you, Judy. We're going to make some resin. We're going to mix up some resin. So then we'll answer some questions. Thank you, Casey. So we have art resin is what I use if you're new here. If you're new here, give me some hearts. Art resin is what I use. It's made in the United States. It has no VOCs, no BPAs. It is food safe when mixed and cured properly. It is a non-hazmat. My favorite part, made in the USA, and it's made specifically for art. All right? Let's do, and I have it in squeeze bottles, okay? So we're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of hardener. And remember, this is a 50-50 mix, and inaccuracy is gonna make a mess. So make sure that you are being accurate in your measuring and thorough in your mixing. Now we're gonna add 3/4 of an ounce of the resin, and we're gonna stir for 3 minutes. Whoop, let's stop. So there's our hardener and our resin and my messy desk. Get a stir stick, and we're gonna stir this for 3 minutes. And while we're mixing, if you have any questions, I'm gonna move my laptop a little closer so I can read. And I'm gonna stir. And if you guys have any questions about what we've done here or our April challenge, our sunflowers and rain boots challenge, I would love to answer any questions you have while I'm mixing resin. So thank you, Jackie. All you got to do to potentially get yourself gifted this cute little art piece is to sprinkle on your page and let your friends know we're here, making art, having fun. Maybe sprinkle the Rain Boots Challenge link when you see it on the Facebook, on the Book of Faces. And let me know that you did that, and your name will go in the drawing for potentially being gifted this lovely, cutesy little bunny art. So, glad you're here, Emily. Thank Thanks for being here. So the eggs came from Hobby Lobby in one of those packs of all the cute little woodsy things. The glass chips, the purple glass and the glass strips and the green came from my store at artshatter.com. The purple glass, I think we still have purple strips, but the purple glass is sold out as of a minute ago. But don't worry, we're gonna have more. If you're watching late or watching the replay, we are making it every day. It just is a process. It takes time and it has to dry. And so we're going to be adding it all every day throughout the month of April. It is our April glass color of the month. Stir, stir, scrape the sides, scrape the bottom, scrape your stick, and just mix slowly, because if you mix too fast, you're incorporating a lot of bubbles. So make sure, what does that say? Patrick said, I wonder if I can use the purple glass and make it look like cloth over each side of the cross. You know what would be super cool, Patrick, is if you had two different colors of the sheet glass and you cut it out, like one piece that's lighter that goes across the top of the horizontal bits and two of the darker pieces cut in the shape of the cloth hanging over. That would be tremendously fantastical. Thank you, Catherine. Gotcha. I'm gonna scrape one more time. I would love to see that, Patrick, if you do that. I think that's a fantastic idea. I would use two different colors of purple so that it shows like a shadow and a highlight. All right, I'm gonna start by putting the glass on my cross first. So I'm just going to use my stick and drizzle right over that strip. We'll put some on the little chunks. Y'all, I know y'all know this because most of y'all make glass art all the time. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I can see, obviously, this piece right under my nose that I'm working on. And I can also see what you see on your screen. Well, thank you, Emily. That is so nice. That might be the nicest thing anybody has ever said to me. I can tell you that it's not the same. It always looks so much better in person. It's so much, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just so much better in person. And I'm looking at the screen, especially it's a little further away than normal. And I'm looking at that and I'm looking at what's under my nose, and I'm telling you, you need to make this. You don't know how, but you'll try. Maybe we'll walk through that. Maybe we'll try that so you can have some direction. It's almost Easter, so it's a good time to be working on something like that, right, Patrick? So it looks so much better in person, or so much shinier, so much nicer. It's just amazing. I'm going to slide this little egg out real quick. Just, I think. I hear some really loud music. Either Steve's here and he's jamming, or I don't know what's going on outside. It's very, very loud. Very. Hopefully there's not somebody here going to get me. I'm going to smooth that out over the egg so it's not pulled up. We're going to get all this green covered. Make sure it's all covered, and you can kind of tell if it has resin on it because it's going to look wet. It was Steve. He was jamming. We could hear your music on the video. All right, so get all your glass covered. It's going to look glossy and wet. I'm going to scooch that up since that one's not glued down. And then we'll push it back down into the resin. Oops, I need a little bit more. Let's get it back over here in the grass. And I'm going to put a little bit over the top. And I'm going to move my little flower. I decided on one. So I'm just going to put a little resin there. I'll scoot that flower back over. I actually think I'm going to just do this. I'm going to dip it and then just smear some of that resin over it. We'll put it back down. Look how cute. Now, I did make too much. An ounce would have been fine. You know me. Get a little worried. I'd rather be safe than sorry. So 1 ounce is perfect. I'm not going to be able to use all this. So let's come back down. I may add a little more green. I'm going to smear this around. Y'all, he walked in and walked out. I don't know where he went. He went to the back of the warehouse. So, I don't know. Who's to know? He probably went back to check and make sure I did all my duties today. I hear him talking. Oops, and keep moving that flower, don't I? So bring it all the way to your edge. And 1 ounce, like I said, is plenty because I'm not going to use near that much. Let's get that flower back where it belongs. I'm going to turn it so we can get this side. Bring it all the way to the edge. Make sure you cross those little ends that we cut. Make sure they're nice and covered. Bring it to the edge. I can hear my bracelets jangling. All right, now let's do the bottom. Bring it down. Bring it across. All right, I think we're all covered. Let me just take a peek. And I literally used less than an ounce, guys. So an ounce is going to be plenty, even if you're a little heavier handed. Probably used about 3/4. Got some debris. We'll wipe that off. I may, since we have left over, I may add a little bit more. I got dirty hands. Let me wipe them off. I'm going to add a little bit more green so we are not, oh, thank you. You're so sweet. So we're not wasting. So I'm going to add a little bit more of this green to the bottom. Might as well, right? Let's just dump it. Get in there. All right. Get off his tail. And then we're going to add, don't let me forget to add seed beads to his tail. We'll add glass. We'll drizzle a little more of that glass or that resin. And we'll hit it with some heats. Then we shall add beads. Boom. Boom. All right, that worked out. Now let's just drizzle a little more of those. Right over the top. It is embedded in the wet resin, but we're going to drizzle over the top anyway because we have it, right? Might as well. set that aside. Let's take these gloves off and use our heat gun to pop any bubbles. I do see some foliage. Just use the heat gun. This is a Seek 1 heat gun from Amazon. We'll get that flower back in place too. He's wiggled around. Just remember to keep your heat moving. You don't want to hone in on one spot. And I can tell you something that's bugging me already is my eggs are both tilted in the same direction, and I don't like that. It's going to bother me. That is going to bug me. So let's straighten this up. I'm going to wipe some of this drip off. Let's see. I'm going to use my stylus, and I'm going to turn this one straight up maybe. And I'm going to leave that one tilted. I didn't like them both tilted in the same direction. All right, and let's scooch that back kind of where. So I'm happy with the one flower instead of 3. Now I've got some debris. And some debris, probably glass dust from where I dumped. And I'm going to add a tiny drip here and here. And I see one more piece of debris. All right. I'm going to hit that with the heat gun one more time. And let's get seed beads. I gotta open these. They're brand new. So let me open them. I'm gonna open them off camera so in case I spill them, I don't spill them all into my art. So let's break that seal. Yeah. Right? I'm dangerous with one of these, y'all. You'd think somebody who works with broken glass all the time would be safer. So let's do our seed beads. I'm just going to put a few in my cup. And Kathy, you can go to artshattered.com, and in the search bar, I'll add the link when we're done. But if you go to artshattered.com and just put paintbrushes in the search bar, it should come up. All right, these are crystal luster seed beads from Hobby Lobby. They're in the jewelry section. Bead Treasures is the brand, and they're size 12, so they're the little ones. And we're just gonna add a pile of seed beads. And then I'm gonna take some resin, and I'm gonna drip right on top of that. I'm going to use my stylus. I should be using a toothpick, but I'm going to use my stylus. Kind of smush them all back into the tail area. And we're going to add some more. So it really is dimensional. You want him to have a big fluffy tail. Now, I'm going to use my stylus again to make sure they're all piled up in the tail area. So stinking cute. And I still have a ½ ounce of resin left. So I did not use even the full ounce. So let's show you this up close and personal. Oh, y'all, look how pretty. I have to wait for my camera to catch up so I can see where we are and see how to shift around so you can see all the things. All right, here it comes. Can you see it all? It's very slow. So we have a purple glass strips cross, a little purple flower on his cute little ear, her, him, some eggs in the grass, Super stinking cute.